All right, we are joined by 2022 world champion and now 2025 world championship silver medalist and good friend Jake Wightman. Congratulations, epic race. The men's 1500 is one of the races that everyone looks forward to, and you guys absolutely delivered with just drama, the theatrics, and how the whole race played out. But like, have you found the words to describe, I guess, the moment and like what this race means to you?
Honestly, my initial feeling straight after was like, I should have won that. And then I've seen it back since, and like, I did everything I possibly could have. Like, I don't think there's anything else I could have done to improve my chance of winning that. But a lot of it is like not even my own performance, but everyone that's helped me get back to this point is like probably pride with it. And it's even now like coming back in here, there's people saying like they've thought about it more and they're like, oh, it's actually sick. Like how like far I've come from the last couple of years. And I remember sitting with you guys in Budapest.
Yeah, when
And
you
like,
weren't
I
even
haven't
competing.
raced since then, like a championship. So yeah, it felt like a lot of trauma these last couple of years that's kind of been washed away a little bit, is what I'd say. Best therapy in it is running well.
I mean, the last few years have been such a roller coaster for you, right? Up and downs. Has there been times where you've thought about like, man, I don't know if I'm ever going to make it back to the level that I was at?
Yeah, I think like the Paris one was like the most crippling by far. Like that would be the one that probably could have been the nail in the coffin because I was running well enough that I knew I could probably go there. It was the 800 rather than the 15. So by that point, they'd already flipped the switch and started running 141. So that was scary enough. And then, yeah, like we did the opening ceremony in our little apartment in San Moritz. I had all the kit and everything. And then it was like the week before. And that one, I was like, this just feels like it's not meant to be anymore. It was like the timing of that was just so bad. That was like, someone out there is telling me, yeah, like you're done. And then I felt like this year was just like a last roll of the dice almost with it. And there's never been a point where I felt like I'm done, but there's always been points where I feel like this could be me getting close to being done if it doesn't go well again. And I think I said like at the start of the year, if I had another big injury, I probably would be. And then I had knee surgery and I was still carrying on after that. So like it's hard when you feel like you have still got something to prove, and there was enough, I feel like, in my training to show that I did still have it, but my fear was just that I was putting in all this hard work and I just would never be able to showcase like how much work I had put in.
And then in addition to that, I guess like the coaching switch, which like I'm sure was really hard for you. I guess like when did that start to pop into your head, and what were you exactly looking for? I guess when you decided, okay, now it's the right time to do this.
Yeah, that's probably been like the biggest impact for me this summer. In all honesty, like I love these champs, but I have not enjoyed racing this summer, and a lot of it was like I've made big changes that I haven't really processed, and having the same coach since you were like 15 years old, but that coach being your dad,
Yeah.
it's like a double whammy of like you're loyal to him because you've had a coach since you were a kid, but then also he's related to me, so I've got to have extra loyalty on top of that. And it was like there was just a couple points over the last few years where I felt like the injuries I had maybe could have been prevented with like a bit less intensity, and I was trying to like almost voice my opinions on it, and then we'd argue about it, and it would be like just I didn't feel like I was getting enough respect for the period I was in my career. Like I could tolerate the stuff we were doing when I was mid-20s and stuff, but now I've hit the old age of 30, it feels like my body just takes a little bit like more adjusting, and I felt like I needed somebody else to help with that because my dad just was still trying to hit me with the same stuff I was doing before. It's funny, I actually saw there was like a meme somebody had made on I don't know what account it was, but it was a photo of me holding our cat, and they put the words over, and it was like, "Oh, I'm back running now. Hit me with the same training again." Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, like I'm getting ripped here for being like injured because I'm doing the same things from people that I've never even met." And I was like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. And I felt like that was the point I was hitting. And yeah, it wasn't nice because it was like neither of us probably felt like it should carry on because it was getting to a pretty bad place. But at the same time, it's like pretty sad end to it that it wasn't like I won worlds and it was like a real happy celebration. We parted ways. Then it was like you part ways at like a tough bit, which for me was when I knew my knee was bad and I needed a surgery on that back in Feb.
It's cool to see that. Like speaking of your dad, you're someone like the only person in the world who can win a global medal, and then you see your dad right in the media zone. I thought we saw a Instagram clip on it, and to be able to share like these moments with them, and not as a coach and athletes, but it's probably helped because the coach athlete relationship can get intense. It's probably nice, and it has helped your guys' relationship as a father son to step away from that. And it's like, okay, now we can just it's father son instead of the coach athlete relationship, which must be and it's a new thing for you guys, but I'm sure it's probably good for you guys in a lot of ways.
It's nice that he wasn't in the mix on hurling abuse at me, right? Like
Yeah.
we've ended in a good enough place that
Yeah.
I think he still supports me, which is obviously good. I was with him obviously just now, like I was saying to you guys, but yeah, it's like I don't think I realized how hard it probably is for him that he was in every aspect of my training, like with a few others helping, but then all of a sudden one day it was done. Like he didn't have any input into my training, didn't know what I was doing. It's just like he hasn't been aware of it, and I haven't spoken to him much about training. The one thing that carried on was like he would still give me like the same bits of like advice and tips before racing, and I was like, he has seen me race since I was like a skinny little, like, teenager. Well, still I'm a skinny adult, but like
He's like, look, I won't write your training, but I'm still gonna give you some advice before I
I'll
race.
still tell you if you ran bad as well.
He's like, you can't take everything.
No, but it's like he could not do the 1500s, right? Like he could choose to announce because they alternate events, so like he could not do it, but he likes to do it, and it's again like he was still part of that moment in our race. And yeah, I hope that our relationship has survived because of it. And I think I said when it first happened, it's like I will still go home for Christmas. It's like the danger was like we argue so much and it would be such a conflict that it was just damaging like more than just the
for sure
athlete coach relationship. Like it's so tough, the dynamic when you're being told by somebody when you're a kid like what to do, and it's like authoritarian.
And now you're grown. It's like, look, I'm not 15 anymore.
No,
and I'm like I'm a veteran in this game, and I feel like I do want more of a voice in this. And it's tough when it's the coach is your dad. So there's just it's a lot going on.
The tough bit was, it's like I did it, and I was like, what am I doing now then? Because I didn't have a plan. I was like, I just knew that it wasn't working for that. So then it was like a mad week where I was just like, I could do anything. I could go to any coach in the world here. I
can do anything.
Yeah, like, I was like, maybe they wouldn't take me, but I could try and ask. That was overwhelming. I was just like, whoa, like I've never ever had a situation where I can choose like this. But main thing for me was like I knew roughly the stuff I was doing obviously gets me the success, so I didn't want to change the template of it. I wanted to keep as much of that as possible, but just change out a few of the things that were breaking me down, which is what I feel like I have managed to do.
So then as training starts clicking and the season is progressing, the event itself is also like leveling up. And I think one of the things that so many people gravitated towards, at the start of the year is when you start to see 327s, 328s, people just running under 330s regularly. As you're kind of working your way back into fitness, what were you making of that side of this of the event where it's like, oh, all right, like I'm coming back and now there's all these new players and I have to be potentially faster than ever?
Yeah, honestly, the season prior to these champs, I was just like, what has happened to this event? Like I did pre and I was battered and I was like, can I actually like do this with these guys anymore? Because it's like 20-year-olds like who have just grown up kind of with like a different philosophy towards how to race. Whereas like I grew up in the like my early 20s, and when I was 20 or whatever was just like 50-second last lap still. So like it's just a different era, and they've kind of learned to adapt with that. They've had, I guess, like different technology and shoes even and stuff. But yeah, I've always like believed that there is a massive different set of skills, right, between time trial and racing. But I doubted that when you see like the Olympic final being 3:27, you're like, well, you have to time trial these races now. So I was still getting ready for that, and I couldn't even tell you what shape I'm in now. But I'd hope I'm in probably PB shape of like 3:28 maybe, but I don't know. It's like all we had to run these last few days was 3:35s and stuff, and I just felt like I was the fittest I'd possibly been going in for even like a time trial, but I didn't know whether that was still going to be good enough because I'd been so humbled. Like my last race before was 9th in Brussels, where I ran like an absolute like idiot, and I just got bullied around like some little boy.
Coming into this week, like what did you think that these races were gonna look like? What was kind of the game plan?
So I just assumed it was going to be similar to previous champs, where we would be, I don't know, like a three. If I'd have predicted it, would have been like 3:35 heat, 3:33 semi, and then like a 3:28 final.
That's what you were kind of mentally prepping for.
Yeah, because I just didn't think it would change as much as it was, and like not that that's what I would choose is the other thing. Like
I would have thought the similar thing.
Yeah, I just didn't see where it was going to be that different, and I didn't see the previous heats, but it's like mad that it just every single one that isolated from each other just went that way. all of a sudden everyone backs their kick, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the heats was like, I've said it to a few people before, but like I had so much like these negative thoughts come in my head that I was like, whoa, like you've always told yourself like you get to a champs and you'll be all right. It's like different style racing, but I was like, what if I'm not? Like, what if I am bad at this still now? And it's like, have I literally got nothing left? And that would be like, if I can't even go for a round, which is what I felt like I was always good at, then am I literally done here? And I was just trying, even on like the bus between the warm-up track and stadium, I was like, nah, like just back that off, like ignore that. And then as soon as I felt good in my heat and I didn't want to win it, but like winning it was like, I feel like that was in control, and I felt like potentially others weren't. So I felt a lot more confident from that alone. I made a few changes as well from, not to slag it off because it works different for different people, but the last time I raced the full season in 22, like bicarb wasn't a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came back and raced in 2024, and I felt like you had to take this supplement because it was like everybody was. So I raced all last year and this year with it. And every time I came away from track, I just didn't feel right. There was something about me that just didn't feel the same. And then Brussels was like the final straw where I just felt like I just couldn't react to stuff. And I was like, why am I still doing this? It's like I've ran pretty well like for 10 years of my career without it. So then I made a decision to drop that out for these champs. And then as soon as I finished that heat, I was like, I feel good. Not that that was the only thing.
The bicar was ruining you.
Single-handedly bringing Morton down with me. But
Yeah.
it's just for me, I felt like it changed how I felt. Like, and for rounds, especially for championships, I just didn't want that. Like, it's like a numbness almost where you could time trial. I felt like I time trial great with it, but like for championship racing where you need to try and move, like I didn't want that. So it's worked out right, but I was bricking it for that. I was like, imagine if that was the only thing that was keeping me running any respectable times.
Before we even got in this room, I think you kind of pointed out just sort of with those rounds, a little bit of just like, I mean, one advantage you had is your longevity in the sport has overlapped with back to when it was the tactical era of races. And so you had that muscle memory that you could revert to. Like, did you also, I think after that first round, start to think, okay, if this is how it's going to be, then it's something that you've got in your back pocket, and maybe not a lot of these people did. I mean, we look at, Fenwell Kovic, he fell, but Habs, like, he's, someone who time trials excellently, hasn't been able to put it together in the championship. So there are some of those people, it's like the separation between racers and those who can just simply run fast, and you were able to just pull that right back.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like when we used to have, it's a funny, like, wild analogy for it, but like when we used to have Friends, like regularly being shown on TV back in the UK, it would show every episode each day and it would just start again. And it's like, I feel like I've gone through the whole series of Friends that it's now just started back to one and it's going again.
You're on the pilot episode.
I know, and it's like tough because the trims are shocking and it's like the camera quality is bad. But no, it's funny because like everyone has had to become better time trialers, but I feel like some of us that have learned how to race before that because of the eras, like I grew up racing like Chris O'Hare, and he messaged and I said like a lot of it was like I can race because of him, because he was so good that you had to be like so crafty to be able to respond to it. And I feel like the time trialing has been easier to develop, and that's been something that's always been there, but you don't necessarily need to show it, because if it's a 320 like 8 or 9 race, it's like you don't need to have these like gears and stuff. And I'd say for the Americans as well, like NCAA probably still preps you for that, because you have to have those change of paces and that acceleration. And a lot of it for me is that my 8 stuff is still as good as I think it has been. And I think you got to have like a USP, right? And I have to keep that as mine, because I'm still probably never going to be able to outrun someone the way like Habs would at the front of the field. And that was the big thing. Like you take that Fanwell, Koech and Habs and you put them in that final and it'd be a different race completely. But you've got to have the gears to go for the rounds. So you have to be like so versatile in this event now. It's crazy.
How much of a wild card was Jakob coming into this whole thing? Like from your vantage point, like, because if you threw it, it was very clear, I guess, very quickly that it's like he wasn't right.
Yeah, to be fair, I still thought he was there and was going to come through, and I haven't seen it back. Like, I don't know many people that could go 1400 meters of that race and still look like they could look like, but yeah, it's crazy because anybody else that you say, oh, they're opening up at Worlds, you'd be like, you're cooked.
Yeah.
For some reason when it's Jakob, you're like, oh, he's ready.
Oh,
he's ready.
With like all the we were talking about Jakob, and you're seeing like Jakob didn't make it through the first round. Then Cole Hawker's DQ'd, and then like all these Koech, like all these guys would be like considered some of the favorites to be on that podium, and you see them not make it through the final. Does that momentum kind of for you start building and in your head, and you're like, man, like things are starting to open up? Like I all of a sudden, what was kind of your mindset going into the final? How did you think the final was going to play out? And obviously we saw like Josh Kerr, he's a guy that they would consider one of the favorites. And when you saw him not pull up on your shoulder, not kind of dictating the pace, was that surprising?
Yeah, I think, you know what's crazy is if you look at that final on paper, you'd say, oh, there must have been so many people injured and not there. But it's like, everyone was there, but for whatever reason, they didn't get to that final. So that was just the people that like ran their best races and made it through. And I just couldn't see how it was going to go sub 3:30 because it's like no one has done anything in the round to show that they won a front run here. And it was like Cherry maybe a few years ago would have been that guy, but I was like, he's not going to do that. And I was like, I was prepared for Josh probably to go from somewhere further out. Like I thought that was what he was going to do because it becomes too dangerous. But my plan was always, if it didn't go like that, was always going to be, you've seen how quick Laros finishes the home straight. So it was like, you can't let him be there, like feeling like that in the home straight. And then the other thing is like someone like Josh is like, I've raced him so many times to know that you got to get past Josh at some point because
and he's tough to get past.
Yeah. So I was prepared to do, what I did was what I was going to do, whether Josh was there or not. And yeah, like the race would have changed if he'd have been there. And like I think we probably could have got two of us on that podium, or like I'm sure we would have had two of us on that podium if that had been the case. But yeah, it was like for me everything through those rounds showed me that I felt like I had what I needed to go and do it, and like all I wanted to do was give it a go. Like that's the only thing I think about doing when I'm racing is that like if I have the opportunity to win it and I'm not absolutely gassed, that I will try and win a race every single time. So yeah, it's mad because like we spoke about it in here before, not in this little closet, but in the New Balance here, and it was like I did like exactly what I wanted to do, which is why like I can't complain about the outcome.
Was there a big screen? Like, were you able to see yourself while you were racing? Like, was there a jumbotron that was showing? Yeah.
So in that home straight, because you do like people are like, you shouldn't be looking at that because it's a distraction, but you want to know if people are coming. Like it helps to know.
Absolutely.
So during the heats, it was like on. It wasn't on. I think
it's on like we're watching the high jump as you go down the step. Be like, like nearly. We were creasing actually. You know what's funny is one of our shot putters, Scott Lincoln. Like we were saying, it's funny how the field events have their personal coaches, like, and they can go and talk to them straight away. And I was like, we can't have that. And I was like, the closest I could get is like, I get you, Scott, when you're on the circle and we're running around, pass little notes or like shout something. I was like, that's the only way we could get it. And he was just like, oh yeah, well, like my advice just be like, move your legs quicker and like stride out a bit longer. I was like, cheers. But no, it's funny because like I was aware at the end of the race that like he was coming, but by that point it's like I was like fully committed.
Yeah, you weren't saving something.
No, and it's like I'm not normally great at like dipping on a line and stuff, and I even tried my best to give as good a go as that. And I look at it and I've seen it back. I'm like, like what could I have done to improve those 200s? And genuinely, like if I'd have started my kick later, like I might not have even got a medal because somebody else could have felt better and like come past me because the rest of them weren't far behind. So I'm proud of like putting out the performance that like the best possible performance I could have on that day. And you've got a guy that closed in like 12 low or something in the last 100 that just came past everybody. So just the way it is.
Absolutely.
It can get loud in there, and then just especially I guess like at the Paris Olympics, the way those guys describe it is like they could feel the noise like in their body in that final stretch. This time around, I guess like could you hear I guess like your dad on like announcing the race or not really to take any cue in the final stretch?
Yeah, nah, because like a lot of it is like by that point you're so committed. Yeah. Like when I run like that, it's like you're just like you're committing to that like strategy, right? So it's like I haven't got another gear to go. Like I'm on my top gear, and you're just holding that for as long as you can. The thing I did hear was Josh having a problem. Like I heard that because the noise wasn't so much, so I did like register that had happened, but didn't pay too much attention to it. And yeah, it's like it's cool when the noise builds, but when you're leading the noise builds, that's not a good sign. Yeah, because that means someone's about to come. Yeah, it's good if you're the one coming for somebody else and you're the hunter, but it's just, it's like I tried to win the race, right? And it's like I got very, very close.
Yeah. I guess I want to go into what you wrote in this. Is this your journal or something that you posted up on Instagram?
Yeah.
Because it was super interesting because it's a peek into your mind. This is in the morning. Oh, this is the night before,
The
right?
night before, yeah.
All right, so tomorrow's the World Championship final. I've come a long way and done so well to even get this far. All I have to do tomorrow is be the best version of myself. Stay calm and calculated. Your handwriting is
I know,
is
it's
okay.
terrible, isn't it?
Get in the right position early. Don't waste energy at the wrong point. When I make my move, do it with confidence. Run with freedom and enjoyment. Enjoy the process. Enjoy being on the start line. There is no expectation or pressure. And so, when you got that on paper, I guess, was it just sort of like, all right, that's like a sigh of relief. Like it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Yeah, it's just I never used to do that, and it was only this year. Honestly, I've had a lot more like anxiety towards racing because like every time you have a season where you don't race that much, you don't go to a champs, you're like, well, next year I'll be fine, and you forget it's like I haven't done this for so long. It's 3 years since I last went to a champs, and it was like it's funny because our physio said, before I went out to find it was like, you're on a bit of a streak here with your championships, like. You got medals at the last 3, and I was like, fucking back in 2022 though. So, and then afterwards, it was like, you've carried that streak on though, just with a big gap. But a lot of it is just reminding myself that like I can do it. Like it's like I have got everything I need, and then the only thing I need to do is just make sure that I don't let anything get in the way of that. So I just try and keep myself as calm and relaxed, and I feel like writing something like that down just reassures me that like you will be fine. And that's all you end up doing on race day. Is like everyone has these like points of like self-doubt and like negative thoughts coming in. All you have to do is just try and reassure yourself like, nah, like I'm better than that. Like I've got all these things that can go my way, and I'll do everything I can to like just make good decisions. That's all it comes down to.
I mean, to play off that a bit, what is it about championship racing that you always rise to the occasion when the moment comes? What is it about that you feel like you just thrive in this environment?
It's just like you don't even think. Like I don't know how it was for you when you were like racing and stuff, but you go on like autopilot, and it's like I feel like if I'm ever conscious during a race, I'm running bad, and it's like I'm not really that fit. I'm not ready to race because I'm just so aware of stuff. But when you're fit in the championship, you almost just like glide through like decisions. So I don't know. You have like it's not like it's like Messi scanning on a football pitch, but I feel like I'm aware of like even like who it is that's like around me and stuff. So like I find without even thinking, you just move out of these bad spots and move back into a good spot. And I don't know. I always say in my interviews, it's like I've had some stinkers when I was younger in championships where I've just like got boxed in and like overcommitted too much. And like even in my semi-final, I like made quite a big move at like 4:50 to go to get in a good spot. And then I was like, I'm not doing that in the final. Like that wasn't a good thing to do. So it's just trying to minimize the chance of making a mistake. And like that's why I try and keep my head calm, because like if you have too much stress or emotion inside of you, you're going to make bad decisions. So if I'm relaxed and calm, it's like I just feel as though I will always be able to get the most out of myself, and whether physically that's good enough or not, that's the only thing that I need to leave to test.
So having that awareness of like the guys who are around you right at the finish line as things take place, were you, I guess, a little surprised that it wasn't an orange kit and it was Laros next to you, and instead it was Isaac Nader? To like so many people, it came as a shock. Odds makers, all that kind of stuff would look at it. It's like no one really saw this one coming. But I feel like for you being in Europe, you've probably seen him race a bunch of times. Like, was there a degree that you also thought like he probably was a bit overlooked heading into that final?
Yeah, he's one of the ones that bullied me in Brussels, to be fair. So I was like, because I just got pushed about by him, and he's like, he's not my height or anything like that. And I was just like, I think people probably didn't pay attention to a 329 and a 143 combo. Like that's like lethal, isn't it? It's like he can go with a strength race, he can go with a quick race. And again, it's like I'd hoped that I could have taken the sting out of him, but he changed pace so well in that home straight. And that's what I look at that race as like, he won that race, right? It's like I didn't tie up so bad that I got caught because I'd got it wrong. Like he ran so well that he came past me and got it right for what he needed to do. But yeah, it's crazy that you almost just don't want to be the favorite, right? It's like I think it's like curse of the 1500 meter favorites. It's like anyone who's ever got this target feels like there's just something bad is going to happen to you.
Did you feel that like after you won that title? Did you feel lots of pressure that all of a sudden now I'm a world champion and I want to like live up to this expectation that it feels like people have placed on
And then
me?
you couldn't. Yeah.
I had it 9 days later
Yeah.
at Commonwealth Games, and I was like, "This is horrible."
Yeah.
It's because it's just
Because now you are the world champ, and so it's like it's easier to come into a race when you're not the favorite. But now that you're the world champ, you're never not going to be.
No, and the only emotion you can feel is relief, because it's like you expect to do that, and then
You never feel like joy, right? You just feel
it's
relief,
grim, isn't it? You're like,
Yeah.
you've done these, you do these amazing things. You're like, thank God that's over, isn't it? And it's like, it's cruel like that.
Yeah.
But I remember with commies, just thinking like all these guys I'm running against have got probably the same hunger that I had like 10 days ago, or whatever. But now like I haven't got that because I've achieved this big goal. And then 2023, I was like, this is going to be, it'll be stressful, but I felt like it was like going to be a test, because you want to be in that situation, right? It's what's that Billie Jean King thing, like pressure is a privilege.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a good thing to happen. And I think that's probably what helped me a lot of these champs is, like I tried to tell myself there, like no one cared about me before these champs. And I was like, that is a great situation to be in. It's like, whether there's somebody that maybe like could say that they did, but I don't believe people were looking at me at all. I didn't do anything that deserved it. And then it was only through the rounds that I felt like people maybe were like, oh, maybe he is running right.
You win that round, and all of a sudden they're like, that looks like the Jakob.
You almost don't want to win it though, because you don't want
Yeah.
people to know that. And I'm glad I deleted social media throughout these champs. I'm kind of glad, because it would be like if I saw like the predictions and stuff like that, you end up being like, oh, have a little look, see who's batting for my like corner and stuff. But
it's tough to compare medals, right? But how would you say, given all you've been through, what does this stack up to that gold that you originally won?
Yeah, I think if I'd have won, this would hands down be like, well, that'd have been like way better than Eugene. And I think I still have to like look back on this and think about it. You get so greedy, man, so greedy. It's like,
I mean, to think about where you were, and almost now you're disappointed that you didn't win.
Nah, like
it can't be.
I'm actually not disappointed. I just think it was like, it was so close.
Yeah.
So like, I can't stop getting out of my head like, oh, like what should I have done? But the more I think about it, and the more I speak to other people, like people are just like proud of me, which is,
I mean,
like,
it
nice.
really feels like a win.
Yeah, honestly, like I'm not emotional at all, but like I like it's pathetic. I had a little sob for myself just on my own in bed, like that night after, because I was like, Christ, man, like as if I've managed to get back to this point. I was like, and it was also like you do it for other people as well, right? And I felt like I'd made so many people like enjoy watching it, and like people were like, oh, like saying all these nice things, and I was like, Christ, like this is like a bit overwhelming and stuff. So yeah, like it's worth like more than a gold almost to me, because it's given me like a career again, and it's given me like hopefully what I didn't have after Budapest, which is like, or after Eugene into Budapest, is like the momentum to then carry on at this level. So yeah, there's a lot of things. It's like, I don't think I'll realize until probably I go back home and I'll see people and they'll all be like reminding me. And I think I came back to the hotel the morning after, and I saw Lawrence Quiz, one of our like discus throwers, and he was like, oh, like well done and stuff. And I said, oh, like so close to winning it. And he was like, don't ever say that again. He was like, that isn't how to look at this. It's like, just celebrate this. It's like it's not about like not winning gold. It's about winning a silver medal, isn't it?
So I want to hear about karaoke, because it's on the front page of the BBC right now, like on the webpage. The celebration carried over into karaoke. What was that experience like here in Japan, where it's huge?
Yeah, it's unreal. So one of my good mates from uni moved here for work like 4 months ago, and he was like leading us all to these, like we tried to find Wednesday night in Tokyo. It's not the one for a night out. It's tough to find places, and like typical like karaoke era is obviously like another level. And then we went in, and it was like not just four. It was like 4 microphones, a bass, like an electric guitar, a keyboard, and drums, and a few tambourines. And then it was like, luckily for us, Jack, one of the New Balance guys here, can play the drums. So every single song had like a little like backing track of drums. But yeah, it was unreal. It was like I think about 12 of us. That's what's so good about these guys here, is like we came back here first, and they are like pumped for you, and then everybody was willing to stay out until 5 a.m. But yeah, it was like I think I got an hour's sleep or something like that. And even last night I got like 3 hours. I still feel like just like wired from it all. But
Yeah.
no, it was a good way to celebrate.
What was the song choice? Oh, you have multiple songs, probably.
Yeah,
I'll
that was the irony. Was like the first one, Steve put it on, and it was like Gold by Spandau Ballet, and I was like, oh, like Nader should be singing this next door, not me, shouldn't it? With it, but yeah, it was sick. It's the ones where like if you didn't go hard and do that, you'd regret that, right? It's like you need to celebrate these wins, little wins.
Does this kind of, are you super, does this put like some real fire back in you where you're like, I'm now back to where it's like when you're telling me you're sitting here having a little sob to yourself, because I'm sure there's points where you're down bad and you're like, I'm never gonna get back. And then all of a sudden in one race, you're validated and you're like, I am the person I truly believed I always could be, even at my lowest. Are you now taking that forward and you're like, I'm hungry, I want to get that gold again at some point, I want to do all these things that I thought might at some point be off the table?
Yeah, there's not that many people probably that have seen behind the closed doors. The person that I was joking with him, because like the person that's seen it all is our British Athletics doctor, because he's had to book in every scan and like help with like every like bit of my injuries. So I said to him after our semi-final, when he said that well done, I was like, oh, I'll make those medical bills worthwhile, doc. Like I almost have to, because they put so much money into getting me that healthy. But yeah, it's been honestly like, I only think back about it now because you move so quick in a sport that as soon as you like are done with an injury, you forget about it. But like these were like bad injuries I was getting. It was like 8-week injuries. And then I was like building back a rehab like for a couple months every single time. And it's not like it was one problem that just kept coming back. I was getting like every flipping body part was like getting something else. And yeah, the word, I think you said it, Eric, when you're asking that question, was like, it's validating. That's the thing. It's like, just reconfirm what I've always believed. And like, I know people from the outside might have looked at it and been like, like he is done and stuff. And it's like, I never believed I was done. And I just feared that I would never be able to prove that. So that's the thing I'm really taking away from it, is like, it's just proof that it was worthwhile giving it a go. And like, it's been grim for like, say my fiance Georgie and stuff like that. Like she's had to deal with like the lows of it as much as anybody. And there's still like stuff that probably isn't right. Like, it's messed with my head more than I thought. Like I get like literally the tiniest little niggle and I'm like, oh, I'm done. Like this is season's over again. And it's like, I need to like reprogram my brain to like
trust your body, learn how to trust your body again.
It's like my body's in a real good place. I had to see the doc after I raced because I landed on my knee and I was like, oh, my knee's gone again here. And it's like, even when I'm not racing, it's something feels like it's going. But it's like reprogramming to still be the athlete that I was before and not just this like fragile, like damaged athlete that I have probably been the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Well, Jake, we're so excited because, this is obviously giving you like an extension to more years of time on the track and more performances like this. And so once again, congratulations, epic race. And we're looking forward to seeing just more in the coming years.
Thank you guys. Nice to be here with you again.